We live in a cynical world, and we work in the business of tough competitors. I love you. You complete me.
Shut up. You had me at Hilaire Bar.
You had me at hello.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. I assume you're like us, and when Donald Trump speaks, you listen. Even if you hate Donald Trump, you have to listen. He's too entertaining. Every time I see Donald Trump on stage, I have to crack a smile because the guy's just funny. He's naturally funny. He's entertaining, and he's captivating. And when he's talking, everybody pays attention. So when Donald Trump posted our post on X, on Truth Social, from last week, asking whether his vice president is on stage, we said, okay, well, we're going to listen. And we're going to assume that Donald Trump's trying to tell us something here. So what is Donald Trump telling us? Well, on stage, there were a bunch of members of Congress. There were senators. There were various people who are assumed to be in Donald Trump's short list for vice president. But standing right behind Donald Trump was Vivek Ramaswamy. You can see there. Now, this is the image that Donald Trump decided to post, say, is Donald Trump's VP on stage? Flanking Donald Trump is Vivek Ramaswamy and J.D. Vance. Very, very interesting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, check out this photo from today. Here's President Trump, and standing right behind him is Vivek Ramaswamy. There he is again. Some people have said Vivek's out of the VP contention. That's not what our sources say inside of the Trump campaign. And Donald Trump seems to be posting quite a bit about Vivek. Also very, very proud of Vivek defending him in front of the court today. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy has long been rumored to be atop the list of somebody who would work inside of the Trump campaign, somebody who would serve the president in some capacity. Some have said that Vivek will be the next vice president. We don't know. We're not sure. Everybody inside the Trump campaign tells us that this decision will be made in Trump time. Now, what Donald Trump just said in an interview is that he plans on making that decision at the convention, or at least announcing it at the convention. And Trump time means Donald Trump watches the news, feels the energy, and makes a decision based on his gut. That's how he's always operated. We asked Vivek Ramaswamy about this, and Vivek says, my commitment is to do whatever I can do to maximally help this country. Whatever it takes, I am ready for it. Of course, you've seen Donald Trump walking into Mar-a-Lago with Vivek. This certainly looks like a ticket here. Vivek and his wife Apoorva, along with Melania Trump there. You've seen Donald Trump and Vivek take the stage together. Donald Trump saying Vivek is a dynamo, and that Vivek, hey, we got to save the country. And you're going to be seeing more from Vivek. Donald Trump calling Vivek up on stage. And right after this, he says, we need to win. We need to win. So Vivek did a recent, very long-form podcast with the PBD podcast, and he was asked point blank, will you be Donald Trump's vice president? Will you serve in the Trump administration? We thought that Vivek's answer to this was quite interesting because it's something we've never heard him say before. We've heard Vivek say he's looking forward to debating Kamala Harris. We've heard Vivek say, obviously, very nice things about Donald Trump and bash Kamala Harris. And so on, sort of like nibbling around the cookie of the VP question. But this is the first time we've ever heard Vivek say it's his moral obligation to run for VP, to become vice president, if asked by Donald Trump. Check this out.
Let's talk about current jobs. Let's just say the president calls you, former president who's running right now. Trump calls you, he wins. Vivek, I want you to be the VP. I want you to be after he wins, the AG. I want you to be Secretary of Commerce. I want you to be, is there any job you would say no to if he called you to say, I want you to help me with XYZ job?
Well, look, I think it would be work more like a conversation, right? In terms of where am I going to have maximal impact? And if he proposed a job where I thought I wasn't going to be effective, I thought I wasn't going to make best use of my skill set, I've got a relationship with Donald Trump who I respect immensely, where we're going to have a conversation about that and actually set up for maximal impact for the country. If he knows who I am, and we've got to know each other really well, if after knowing all of that, he would ask me to be vice president, or, you brought up that example, let's just answer really honestly, anybody who cares about this country, who's aligned with his vision in the Republican Party today, if they're asked to be vice president, is going to say yes and has a responsibility to say yes. And so I think that goes without saying.
This is very interesting. We've never heard Vivek use this kind of language before. that it's actually my moral obligation and responsibility, along with anybody that Trump asks, to be VP. It shows you sort of the way that Vivek is thinking about it and looking at it, and he views it as a duty, which is, of course, a very, I think, positive way to actually look at this job. Now, Vivek was asked further along in the conversation whether he is going to be running in 2028 for the presidency. I thought this was very, very interesting. Vivek giving sort of the guardrails as to why he would run for president in 2028 after a Trump term. After the next president, will Vivek run again?
Question with that follow-up.
The amenities in that White House.
Let's say hypothetically,
Yeah.
let's say hypothetically Trump does lose. Hypothetically, does that mean all but certain you're gonna throw your candidate?
Look, I think if Trump loses, this country's in deep trouble.
Right.
Right. And my work for this country, all of our work for this country, can't wait for even 4 years. That's got to start immediately. And so that's the way I'm approaching it even right now. I think we're skating on thin ice as a country. Every one of us has to look ourselves in the eye and say, how are we going to make a difference now? I'm not going to plant. Who knows if 4 years from now is going to look even the way it does today. You got to start right now. And so that's the urgency with I'm approaching this year. I think politics is not the only way to drive positive change in the country. People forget that. A lot of this is going to happen through the private sector, through our educational system. I've lived the American dream, be smarter through philanthropy even. I think there are a lot of different ways that we must be required to drive that change in the country. And so, as I said, the only chance I would run for president in the future is if I felt like the future of the country depended on someone like me stepping up to do it. And let's hope we're not there.
So that's very interesting. Vivek saying, using sort of the, it's funny, the more you think about it, it's exactly what Donald Trump said. Trump said the exact same thing. Interview from the 70s. Famous interview. Will you run for president? No. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be a businessman. I would never do it unless things got so terrible, so bad that I had to do it. And well, where are we now? Donald Trump's running for president. This is his third campaign for president. Pressed on this issue one more time, Vivek had this to say.
Country, I don't believe this country requires somebody to step up and actually make that sacrifice. If we're back to normal times, hell no, I'm not running for president. But the only reason I would do it is if I believed this country actually required it. So I'm hoping this, as one man, I'm hoping that we're not there. And if we are there, that means there's a job that needs to be done because I'm doing it as a father, right? I want my kids to grow up in a country greater than the one that I grew up in and that my parents came to. I hope that's not the position we're going to be in 2028. After 4 successful years of Trump's presidency, I hope that this is a job that somebody else can do to carry forward. But if it's required, that means it's going to be urgent for the future.
Vivek, you mean to tell me the $400,000 a year salary doesn't attract you?
Well, now you didn't mention that part. Now I got to rethink that. I got to rethink this, buddy.
Tax-free. Tax-free, too. If you're president, you don't pay taxes on that. So there you go, babe. This is the look. Vivek saying that he would only run if he's forced to. Well, whoever heard that before. And then 2, Vivek saying, listen, guys, it's my moral obligation to be Donald Trump's VP. Interesting times we live in. Let's see what happens. Donald Trump saying it's going to happen at the convention. We'll be watching. Hope you're watching with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Benny. See ya.